My name is Arjun. For a long time life felt ordinary, stable, complete. I was married to Ananya. She moved through our apartment softly, deliberately, like she didn't want to disturb the peace she had built. And we had our daughter, Mira. She was 6 years old, loud, curious, always asking questions that made no sense but somehow warmed the heart. When I held her, or she held my finger, the world slowed down. Those were the nights I lived for. We had moved into a modest 2-bedroom apartment 3 months earlier in Pune. Not fancy, clean, white walls, narrow balcony, sunlight spilling into our home. Ananya's plants thrived on the balcony, tulsi money plant, a small jasmine bush. Mornings were peaceful. Tea on the balcony, distant traffic hum, temple bells far away, Mira babbling on the floor while Ananya stitched blouses. Evenings were slower. I came home from work. Ananya handed me Mira, dinner, lights out one by one, the house quiet. Those nights felt safe. I remember thinking often, this is enough. This is life. It's complete. Not perfect, not luxurious, but stable, happy enough. We met the neighbors gradually, polite nods on the stairs, small smiles. Most people kept to themselves, except the family across the corridor. One Sunday afternoon there was a knock on our door. A man stood there, early 40s, thin, sharp features. His smile felt practiced. "This is Raghav," he said. Behind him his wife, Kavita, held a baby wrapped tightly in a blue blanket. "This is our son Arav," Raghav said quietly. The baby didn't cry, didn't move, just stared. I thought it was strange, but ignored it. We invited them in. Tea was made. Mira and Arav lay on the floor, quiet, curious, occasionally glancing at each other. Normal conversation followed. Work, rent, groceries, doctors, life's small details. Slowly their story emerged. Arav was often sick, frequent fevers, hospital visits, medicines that sometimes worked and then didn't. Raghav had job issues, irregular income, mounting bills. Kavita spoke more than him, about fate, about life's unfairness, how some people seemed destined to suffer while others lived peacefully. I felt sympathy. We were doing well. They weren't. After that, we started seeing them more often, in the corridor, near the stairs, outside the building. Kavita visited Ananya in the afternoons. She spoke softly, always tired, always worried about Arav. "He doesn't sleep," she said once. "Doctors don't understand." Ananya listened, comforted her. I noticed something odd. Every time Kavita spoke about her child, her voice carried fear, fear I couldn't explain. Raghav began speaking to me in the evenings, about money, about jobs, about how no matter what he tried, something always went wrong. "Bad luck follows us," he said one night. He laughed after saying it, but his eyes didn't. Around this time, small things began happening in our apartment. Nothing dramatic, nothing obvious, just subtle disturbances. A faint strange smell near Mira's room. Not rotten, not sweet, just unfamiliar. Flies gathering near the balcony door, even after cleaning. Ananya complaining of headaches, sudden and fleeting. Mira waking up crying at night, distressed, different from before. "She says someone touches her hair," Ananya whispered once. I laughed it off. "Kids imagine things," I said. "I believe that. That was my mistake." One evening Raghav visited alone, looking exhausted, dark circles under his eyes, clothes wrinkled. He sat across from me and spoke quietly. "You're lucky, Arjun. Your family is peaceful." I smiled. He leaned slightly forward. "Do you ever fear losing it?" That question lingered longer than it should have. That night, after everyone slept, I woke suddenly. The smell was stronger, coming from the hall, the balcony door open, and something small tied to the grill, black thread, strands of hair woven into it. I stood there, heart pounding, telling myself it was nothing, superstition, coincidence. The next morning it was gone. And Raghav smiled at me from across the corridor, as if he knew exactly what I had seen. Life after that night never felt quite the same. I kept telling myself it was nothing, just a strange coincidence. But small things began to change. It started with the smell. Not every day, not strong enough to worry about. Just a dull, metallic scent like wet coins, lingering near Mira's crib, then disappearing. I mentioned it to Ananya once. Maybe it's the drainage, she said. I nodded. Agreed. Middle-class apartments always had minor problems. Then came the insects. Nets, tiny black, appearing near the kitchen, then the bedroom. Always near Mira's things. Her crib, her toys, her blanket. We cleaned, sprayed, tried home remedies. They disappeared, only to return somewhere else. I started feeling uneasy, but not scared. I wanted to believe it was normal. That was my first mistake. The visits from Raghav and Kavita became more frequent. Not officially invited, but somehow always appearing near our door. Kavita spoke more freely now. About her struggles. About how doctors couldn't help Arif. About how no matter what they tried, misfortune followed them. I listened, comforted her. I felt sympathy, concern, responsibility. But I didn't yet see the pattern. One evening, while Ananya was in the kitchen, Kavita leaned toward me. Your daughter sleeps well, doesn't she? I smiled proud. She nodded slowly. Some children carry peace with them, she murmured. I laughed awkwardly. She looked away. That moment stayed in my mind longer than I expected. Small things at home started to shift. Mira, who used to sleep soundly, began waking suddenly. Crying. Not loudly, but urgently. As if startled by something invisible. She calmed only when held. Her tiny fingers dug into my shirt. Ananya said it was normal. Growth phase, teething, she said. I believed her. But something inside me whispered differently. Then came the first real sign. The smell returned, stronger. Inside the house, near Mira's bedroom. I searched everywhere. Bathroom, balcony, dustbins. Nothing. By morning, it was gone. Raghav smiled at me across the corridor that day, as if he knew. Weeks passed. Their misfortunes worsened. Hospital visits, unpaid bills, broken appliances, failed jobs, minor accidents. And every time they spoke about their bad luck, Kavita always said the same thing. Some are meant to suffer, while others are protected. Her voice was flat, calm, accepting. I didn't question it. Then came the first subtle intrusion. One evening, I noticed Kavita touching Mira's hair. Not once, not playful, but carefully, deliberately. She murmured things I couldn't understand. I froze. But she smiled, then left. Another day, she slipped something into her handbag. I noticed it was a tiny piece of cloth, faintly stained, picked up from near Mira's crib. I assumed it was a toy, didn't ask. Why would I? They were suffering, we were fine. People don't imagine evil when life feels stable. Then came the real turning point. Arif was admitted to the ICU. Serious condition. Doctors unsure. Kavita cried in our living room. Collapsed into Ananya's arms. I will do anything to save him, she whispered. Those words stayed with me. Long after she left. That night, Mira developed a fever. Sudden. Unresponsive to medicine. She cried all night, a thin, strained cry. Not like before. As I held her, pacing, rocking, a thought crossed my mind. I pushed it away immediately. Coincidence. But coincidences, when repeated, stop feeling like coincidences. And the unease settled in my chest. A silent dread I couldn't place. I realized then, some people don't just wish for something. Sometimes, they take steps. And when they do, you only notice the signs too late. The next few weeks were unbearable. I could feel it in the apartment. A weight, subtle, pressing down, almost invisible, yet impossible to ignore. Mira's sleep became unpredictable. Sometimes she woke in the middle of the night, screaming. Not ordinary nightmares, but a high-pitched, urgent cry, like she sensed something I could not. Ananya tried to comfort her. "Maybe she's imagining shadows," she whispered. I didn't know what to think anymore. The smell returned, stronger this time, metallic, faintly bitter. Near her crib, near the balcony, always shifting, impossible to locate. Then came the insects again. Tiny black ants appearing in corners, around toys, always disappearing when I tried to show Ananya. "You're seeing things, Arjun," she said. I wanted to believe her. But the dread in my chest told me otherwise. Then one afternoon Raghav came over. Alone. His face pale. Hands slightly trembling. He sat across from me. "Arjun," he began. "I don't know what to do anymore." His voice was low, trembling, as if he were confessing secrets to himself more than to me. I nodded politely. He leaned closer. "You know how some people seem lucky and some unlucky?" I stayed quiet. "They say," he paused, eyes darting, "people can influence fate." I raised an eyebrow. "What do you mean?" He looked around as if someone might be listening. "You can protect yourself, or you can take from someone else." I didn't answer. He smiled faintly. But the smile didn't reach his eyes. The next day I noticed something unusual. In Mira's room, tucked under her blanket, a tiny doll. Nothing remarkable at first. But it had strands of black hair tied into it, and small pins sticking through. I froze. Heart racing. I pulled it out carefully, inspected it, tried to convince myself it was some craft project. Mira's imagination. But the pins, the hair, the feeling it gave me, made my stomach twist. Later that night, I woke to a faint chanting sound. Almost imperceptible, coming from the wall that separated us from Raghav and Kavita. I held Mira close. The chanting stopped. And yet, the sense of eyes watching lingered. The unease settled deeper. I started observing Raghav and Kavita closely. Their misfortunes, constant hospital visits, failing businesses, minor accidents, they always spoke of bad luck. But I realized something chilling. Every time they talked about misfortune, something happened to us soon after. Nothing catastrophic, but subtle, unnerving, the small, creeping sort of horror you only notice when it repeats. And then came the letter. No name, no return address. Just a single sheet of paper slipped under my door. On it, a sentence written neatly. "Fortune favors the child, Arjun, but some debts must be paid." I read it over and over, each time feeling the chill spread deeper into my chest. My mind raced. Who could leave this? I thought of the neighbors, Raghav and Kavita, but how could they do something so bold, so direct, without being seen? The answer came slowly. Small things, patterns, repetition. The hair, the doll, the smell, the insects, the faint chanting. Each a thread connecting back to them. Their motive, fear for Ariv's life. The belief that fortune for one child could only be secured at a cost. And now we were the cost. Ananya noticed my distress. "Arjun, what's wrong?" I tried to speak, but words failed me. Then she saw the doll. Her face paled, and in that moment, I knew she understood. We had to act. But what could we do? Who could we turn to in a city filled with ordinary people, when the danger was subtle, psychological, and dark? That's when I remembered someone, an old Baba my uncle had spoken about years ago. A man who helped people with problems they could not explain, who understood forces beyond reason. I didn't know him personally, but desperation left no choice. The next day I went to meet him. He listened carefully, silently, as I explained everything. The dolls, the hair, the pins, the chanting, the sickness in Mira, the unease, the patterns. When I finished, he nodded slowly. "You are not imagining. You are being targeted, by intent, by knowledge, by fear." He paused. "Black magic, to secure fortune for a child, at another's expense. This is old, powerful, and dangerous." I asked him what to do. He instructed me carefully. Rituals, protective talismans, cleansing oil, salt, fire, the dolls destroyed, the hair buried under flowing water, repeated prayers at midnight. Every step precise, nothing rushed, no shortcuts. I followed every instruction. And slowly, the atmosphere changed. The smells faded. The insects disappeared. Mira slept peacefully again. The sense of eyes watching vanished. Raghav and Kavita never visited us again. We learned later, a family like them had been targeting others in the building, believing it would bring fortune to their own child. We were lucky, our awareness came just in time. And yet, sometimes, when the wind blows just right, I can still smell that faint metallic scent. I still check Mira's room, just in case. Some things leave a mark, even after they're gone. I tried a new narration style for this story. I'd love to hear your thoughts. What worked, what didn't, and what scared you the most? All feedback is welcome, even if it's critical. It helps me make the next story even better. Comment down below and thanks for watching.